You. So look, this video is saying don't do this when evolving spiritually. Now, even though I'm saying don't do this when evolving spiritually, there's this concept that the unconscious mind doesn't process negatives, which means that if I say don't think about, if I say don't do this when evolving spiritually, you're going to consider doing this while evolving spiritually. It's like saying, you feel me, like don't think about a blue card. Like you feel me, like you might have just thought about a blue card. You might have just did that. I'm not sure if you did, but you might have just did that. But anyway, don't do this. You feel me? Do the opposite. I'll tell you what you should do. I'm gonna say what you should do at the end of this. But I'm still gonna title this "Don't Do This" because like, why would I not do that? But here's what you shouldn't do. I'm gonna relate this to the tree of life, but I'm gonna also like explain real quick how this applies to really everything in life. You, but it's gonna get like way more important. Well, I ain't gonna say way more. Way more. Fuck it. Let me just get into the fucking video. All right. When learning anything in life, you gotta learn the basics. You gotta learn what's going on, what you're doing, why you're even doing it, how you should do it. Like you need to know the basics. You feel me? You can't just learn all the higher shit immediately. That's not how shit works. You feel me? Like no, no. That's not how shit works. It's like that with everything, spirituality with everything. Like you gotta learn the basics. You feel me? When it comes to spirituality, I ain't gonna say you gotta learn morals and ethics, which you kind of do have to learn, but realistically, your morals and your ethics are just a reflection of your spiritual awareness. Basically, it starts with your ability to know the real from the unreal. Like you need to know like what you're really experiencing. You need to know what the fuck is really going on here. You feel me? You need to know like what all the higher shit and all the lower shit actually is. You feel me? Because there's people, not saying everyone, because there's people who are basically there's people who want to get in tune with the higher shit, which are just higher illusions. Like they're just higher mental illusions anyway. Which is not a bad thing to get in tune with, because if you get in tune with them shit to understand them shit and do everything properly, you can use that to benefit the lower stuff like inside this realm. You feel me? Like I'm not saying you're gonna be fucking manipulating reality, telekinesis, all kind of other shit, because that's not really even necessary. And if it is, then you'll be able to do it when it's necessary. Like if the source, like if you just get in tune with the source and that kind of just flows through you and things happen like that. You feel me? But you could get to a point where you can manipulate reality. I don't doubt that shit, but like that's gonna take more effort than just naturally have done that shit because you were at the right place at the right time when it needed to happen type shit. You feel me? But anyway, like what I mean is that like you'll understand more about how this works. You'll understand how to flow better with this type shit. You feel me? But if you just jump straight to the higher mental shit, you could get literally caught up inside the higher mental shit that's still an illusion and then completely miss the point of why you're even in existence to begin with. You feel me? But I ain't gonna say why you're in existence, but what you are in existence. You feel me? You could get lost in existence and basically pretty much just lose your awareness of what you are. You feel me? But it's more likely like it's crazy because this realm is the dangerous realm. You feel me? Because in the higher realms, you have way more reminder. Like in all the higher mental illusions, you have way more reminders and shit. You have way more things that happen that remind you, like my nigga, like you're a transcendental being. I'm not saying it's not hard to fall from the bitch. I'm not saying that you can't fall from the bitches because you really can. It's not. I ain't even gonna say it's hard to fall from the higher realms. But like inside this realm, it's like you could come inside this bitch and you just come lose complete awareness of self and you just go through a whole cycle that literally leads you to a point where you're not even where you can't even incarnate with inside of a human body because your level of awareness isn't really at that level anymore to really be able to take on a human body because the human body needs some level of awareness. You feel me? You can be pretty unaware as a human. You feel me? Like you can, which is what leads you to, being more unaware as like an animal or something like that. Because it's not even because your personality doesn't become the animal. Like your personality is gone. That's like not real. You feel me? All that you are is the full point of awareness. Like you're just like the ability to see shit. Like That's really like you, like just awareness. Like it's pretty much you. Like just, not just pretty much that. Like that is like you. Like that's like your soul. Like that's what like that's where you begins. Because once you are able to be aware and perceive things, you can eventually perceive yourself. You can become aware that you're aware. You feel me? And then that's where like the spark of consciousness and everything. That's where you will eventually start to create a personality. Hopefully you do that shit in an aware manner though, because most people don't. They just kind of like they're aware that they're aware, but they're not aware that they know that they're aware that they're aware. That's the problem. You feel me? Basically, people don't know that they're conscious. That's the problem. You feel me? But anyway, back to what I was saying. Here's how this relates to the Egyptian shit and why you shouldn't do this type of stuff. It's important to learn about the lower divinities before trying to learn about the higher ones, because often people will want to learn about the higher motherfuckers and skip the lower ones. Nah, you need to know the lower ones, because all the gods and goddesses have a lower and a higher nature, but you're gonna miss a lot of the higher nature of the higher gods if you don't understand the higher nature of the lower gods. You feel me? And goddesses and stuff like that. You feel me? Like you gotta understand all that shit. You feel me? Like because they all tie together and shit. Like they all like yeah. Like you feel me? Like you gotta really understand all them bitches. Like not even just conceptually, because I mean the concepts are easy to, like are easier to understand, but the concepts can be hard for some people and stuff like that. You feel me? But it's about going beyond that shit, because it's manifesting as a concept. Like this shit is not a concept. You feel me? Like it's a part of you. Like you are not a concept. Like you're actually real. But these parts of yourself are like not necessarily real, but grouped together as one, they become like all real. That's why there's actually certain rituals that say that you don't look up to the gods and goddesses. You're supposed to look up to you. But you have to achieve that level of divinity though, if you really want to like really like beyond that type of level type shit. You feel me? You have to really learn about these and transcend these principles about yourself. But at the same time, you are not a principle. Like these parts of yourself are not principles that have been created as gods and goddesses. Like no, no. You feel me? These things are transcendental things about yourself. You feel me? Like there's lower ones and higher ones. You feel me? The highest one is the most transcendental, that transcends everything. But there's ones that transcend reality also, because there's five human divinities. You feel me? And there's five like cosmic ones. You feel me? Them shits, right? Like there's higher levels to this shit. Like you feel me? They're not concepts. Like these are actual parts of yourself that like are like more real than the concept itself. You feel me? Now, in relation to the most real thing in reality, like that transcends everything, technically none of those divinities are real. Real shit. Because the most real thing transcends everything. So I'm just gonna put that out there right now. You feel me? But like in relation to a human perspective, like you feel me, like it's not the it's not a concept that's been made into a god that's inside of yourself. No, it's something inside of yourself that's been made into a principle. You feel me? Like this is an actual thing. It's not like a god or gods that controls. Like no, but it's a part of yourself that's actually there type shit. You feel me? Like it's actually there, and it's important to know about these lower aspects, because they say that if you don't appease the lower divinities, it's gonna be hard to get in tune with the highest divinity. And the reason why is because it's like, imagine there's like an ocean, right? Now imagine you could swim. You feel me? Like I don't care if you can't. Imagine that you can. You feel me? And there's like a giant ocean. You feel me? That is not too deep. You feel me? Like you could easily go across that bitch like for a mile. You feel me? You're that good. You could easily go a whole mile across that bitch if it was completely calm and shit like that. You feel me? However, imagine it's like a fucking crazy ass storm. You have fucking whirlpools over there, fucking crazy ass tsunami waves and shit coming and stuff like that. And there's $1 million about a half a mile out. Do you think we'll really be able to get that shit? With that big ass storm, you got tsunamis and shit. You got fucking lightning and fucking whirlpools over here and shit, nigga. You have shit inside the fucking water. Do you have fucking broken wood and shit, metal, and you have all kinds of shit inside the water just going. You're not gonna be able to get that shit. Basically, you haven't. You haven't got rid of the lower shit. You haven't calmed the storm of the lower shit. Therefore, you can't even get across to the higher shit. You need to calm down the lower shit, make the ocean peaceful. Then you get to the goal. You feel me? You learn the higher shit, and then yeah, pretty much, you know. Cause you even see in meditation, like you, and it's crazy because shit will become really fast as you start to understand this shit. Like this shit could take like fucking like nanoseconds type shit. You feel me? You will peep in meditation that if you try to connect to the source, right? But you haven't really acknowledged a certain part of yourself, like the lower parts of yourself. You feel me? It'll be harder. But once you acknowledge those shits, you feel me? Is that you kind of get rid of the impurities that are associated with that shit, if there are any. And then it'll be easier to get in tune with the source. Pretty much, it's like you're trying to get in tune with the source, but there's a block. You can feel the block and then clear the block type shit. You feel me? I hope this shit all recorded because I barely got any stories, so I'm just gonna end it right here. All right.